This is Adventures in Infinite Banking, Episode 3, My Personal Experience and Adventure in Infinite Banking. I've related bits and pieces of my experience with infinite banking in my first book. My first book about infinite banking and in a number of different videos, but only as anecdotal evidence. So I will reveal here in this video the details of a few of our adventures in infinite banking. Aloha, I'm Stan Cox, principal broker and strategist with SC Finance Strategies and Insurance Consultants. I'm also the author of the books on the tax-free cash growth warehouse strategy, and I'm the managing director of the Hawaii Financial Free Thinkers Academy, a nonprofit financial literacy education organization. For the past several years, I have focused on and specialized in the infinite banking concept and developing the tax-free cash growth warehouse finance strategy. If you find this to be helpful, please like this video and subscribe to this channel. Also, please post your questions and comments here. Now, most of my working life has been as a professional photographic artist. When the digital selfie revolution took hold, I was forced to change professions, and I was recruited into the finance industry as a life insurance agent. Life insurance wasn't something I was particularly interested in, but I saw the value in it, and the way I was recruited, it seemed like something I could succeed in. As I got into it, I found that it was more challenging than I imagined it would be. And while I found that aspect to be, stimulating, I just didn't get the joy and satisfaction from working in life insurance as I had working with photography. Not even close. Then, quite by accident, I was intrigued by something my sales manager had said about using the cash value of whole life as a personal bank. And I began doing research. And that's when I discovered the infinite banking concept and the books by Nelson Nash, who had coined the term infinite banking. Fascinated by the idea, I eagerly read Becoming Your Own Banker. But while that book really stoked my interest about the things you could do with the strategy, it left me with more questions than answers. Then I found and read more books about it, such as The Wealthy Physician, Prescription for Wealth, The Banking Effect, Bank on Yourself, What Would the Rockefellers Do, and others. But none of them explain how a life insurance policy should actually be designed for infinite banking. So I began my search for specific training in how to design a policy and properly apply the strategy. That's when I discovered that the agencies that were associated with those books charged a fairly hefty tuition for their training and certification programs. And I thought, wow, how unfriendly and greedy those guys were. But finally, I found a brokerage that specialized in infinite banking policy design that didn't charge me to learn from them. Of course, I joined with them and learned how to properly design policies that would instantly grow cash value and maximize its growth and availability for use with the infinite banking strategy. And that's when I found out that people in general are quite resistant to learning something new or accepting that it's true, even when it provides a much greater advantage and benefit over what they've been doing. But that's another story and not particularly relevant to this one. As I said earlier, I had been a professional photographer for most of my career. So I was closer to retirement age than beginning a career age when I got started with all this. So here I was in my mid to late 50s and buying life insurance for the first time. Age is a big factor in premium pricing. So I really couldn't afford much of a policy for myself and my wife. I bought policies for both of us at $100,000 face value each. Pretty small, really. And the first policies I bought for us were straight whole life with no cash growing riders. I hadn't discovered infinite banking yet. And it wasn't for a couple of years after that until I learned how to build a policy for infinite banking. Fortunately, when I did learn how to build a proper infinite banking policy, I was then associated with the insurance company that has the very best writers for designing what I have come to call a tax-free cash growth warehouse account. Once I had gained understanding and expertise in the infinite banking concept and designing a proper policy for it, I shared the whole thing with my wife, Amanda. Well, she was immediately on board. So I proceeded to exchange the straight whole life policies we had for new infinite banking policies with the provider I have ever since used for the vast majority of the tax-free cash growth warehouse accounts that I have created for my clients. Then the fun began. We had our previous policies for a couple of years, so they had grown a little bit of cash value, and that cash value was transferred completely to the new policies. And of course, with the new design, a couple of things happened right away that really got us charged up. First, as I said, age is a major factor in the premium pricing. And we were then 2 years older than we were when we first got our $100,000 policies. In spite of that, our new policies gave us 50% more insurance at the same premium we were paying for the straight whole life policies when we were 2 years younger. And that's kind of a big deal. But not only that, with the very first premium we paid to our new policies, our cash value grew significantly. Okay, it was time to try out infinite banking for the first time. Take it for a test drive, so to speak. It just so happened that we were already talking about replacing the sofa in our living room, so that was the natural direction we headed. We determined that we would use the infinite banking strategy to finance a new sofa. We went shopping. And I'm going to say that that was probably the most fun part for Amanda at that point. Although, if you give her a chance now to talk about it, her enthusiasm for infinite banking is absolutely undeniably infectious. At that point, of course, we hadn't actually experienced the thrill of spending money that keeps on growing in our account, which is, of course, a really big deal. Well, we found the sofa that we wanted. It was priced at $1,000. In-house financing at the furniture store was at 24% interest. We had credit cards that were charging 12%, so we could have gone that route. But again, with infinite banking and the provider's policies concerning loans, we would not only keep our money growing in our accounts at the same time as we leveraged it to buy the sofa, we would also save the opportunity cost as well. And that's because the provider that we use has a lower policy loan interest rate than the dividend interest that they pay to our accounts and non-direct recognition. So even though we may have all of our money leveraged by policy loans, all of it continues to earn the compounding dividend interest. Now that we had picked out the sofa we wanted to buy, the next thing we needed to do was to take our first policy loan. This is how easy it is to do. I called the service department of the insurance company, told them I wanted to take a policy loan for $1,200. I gave them the policy number and ID'd myself. They asked how I wanted the money, either a check mailed to me or direct deposit into my bank. I asked for it to be mailed to me, and they said it would take between 5 and 7 days, not including weekends or holidays. Well, apparently they processed the loan the same day and got my check in the mail the very next morning because it was in my mailbox in just 5 days. And there was a weekend between my requesting the loan and getting the check. As soon as I got the check, we went to the furniture store and paid for the sofa. Now, here's how it worked out. By using the infinite banking strategy, instead of financing through the furniture store, we saved the $250 of interest the store financing would have cost us. But more than that, at the time, we were earning 7% dividend interest. So we also saved the opportunity cost of $70. Now, here's an interesting and absolutely crazy good advantage of using infinite banking instead of the standard financing. We did not make a payment on that loan, on that policy loan, for a whole year. Not only that, we never received a demand for payment. Not making a payment on the loan for a whole year had zero effect on my credit score, and the money in my tax-free cash growth warehouse account grew by 7%. It was quite a while ago, so I don't remember the exact amount of cash value that I had at the time, but I think it was around $2,000 when I took the first policy loan. So that means my cash account grew not only by the 7% on the $2,000 that was already there, but because of the design of the policy, nearly half of the premium I paid throughout the year was added to the cash value, and those additions earned the 7% dividend interest as well. Of course, when we received our annual statements and saw the results of everything, we were ecstatic. It was basically as if we got the new sofa for free because the money we used to pay for it stayed right in the cash account and grew with the high compounding dividend interest. Sorry, it's hard for me to contain my excitement when I talk about these things because we've experienced it and it's so really wonderful. Anyway, from there, full of confidence, gained from our first adventure in infinite banking, we tackled the highest interest bearing loans that we had at the time, our 2 car loans. And at that time, we used the sweep strategy along with our tax-free cash growth warehouse accounts to knock out those loans and save nearly $10,000 in interest. Since then, we've used this fantastic finance strategy to pay for computers, printers, more furniture. We've paid for vacations, anniversaries, dinner celebrations. I bought my wife a new diamond. Somewhere along the line, I figured out that we could pay our income tax by using infinite banking. Yeah, I was already happy about everything about infinite banking, but when it dawned on me that I could pay our tax bill and keep the money in our accounts earning interest, wow. Now I got downright excited, as you might be able to tell. And of course, we've continued to use infinite banking for all kinds of things, including paying down credit cards and even paying cash for our new Subaru Forester. Now, the first time, as I said, I had the funds mailed to my house. But since that time, I've had each of our loans direct deposited into my bank account. And every time the money has been in my account within 5 days. 5 days. One time, it was deposited into my bank account in just 3 days. To say that we've been very satisfied with infinite banking, the way our policies have worked for us, is a huge understatement. The process is so simple and easy, and the compounding interest is so good. Infinite banking and the tax-free cash growth warehouse truly is the most powerful finance strategy in history. Again, please like this video and subscribe to this channel and post your questions and comments here. For a more complete explanation of the tax-free cash growth warehouse strategy, you can watch our free 60-minute webinar. The link is on the description box below. The link to buy my books on Amazon.com is also below. And if you'd like to book a free phone consultation with me, the link to my Calendly page is also below. If you'd like to apply to become a client of ours, the link to the application is below. We're here to help. We look forward to helping you. For now, aloha and mahalo for watching.